Let's check out our January garden. It's been pretty cold over here and there's a lot of things that haven't been done. There's a lot of things that need to be moved, trimmed, replaced, tossed. But it's been too cold. On this bed closest to the door we have the lavender. This French lavender has been here for about 2 years and it's doing pretty well. It's one of my favorite things in the garden. And this pot right next to it is a former Christmas tree that didn't last the summer. So that needs to get pulled out. Those are some marigolds that I need to finish deadheading. And these right here, these are tulips that I planted last year. Initially I was going to pull them out and replace them. I didn't expect them to grow a second time. But now that they're here, I don't know if I want them here, but I'm going to leave them. This bed gets too much shade, so it's kind of hard to grow things here, which is surprising to me because in the high desert we get pretty hot. So I'm not sure what to plant here next. Anyway, a lot of these beds have these bricks that we're starting to remove slowly. Like this one right here, for example, this one had the bricks in the corners, but we got rid of them. Bugs hide in those corners very well, and it's terrible. This bed we have lettuce, we have onions. There used to be tomatoes here. They did very well, but we wanted to try our hands at some leafy greens. It's been pretty cold, so the ground is pretty frozen. They're doing okay, but they're not doing great. In this bed we have more tulips and hyacinth and some gladiolus, which I'm just gonna leave, I think. This bed we have broccoli and cauliflower, which I don't think is gonna make it. It's been too cold, and by the time they are just about to hit maturity, we're gonna have to replace them with our summer crops. This has definitely been a learning experience, and I think every year it's always an opportunity to learn something. So we might plant our brassicas sooner next year. Anyway, this is a raspberry, and I'm going to pull it out and put it in a pot. So I'm slowly getting rid of the bed, and but that needs to be out soon. This is more lettuce, romaine lettuce, some flowers. Not doing too well in the cold, but when the sun hits them, they perk right up. Unlike with the broccoli or the cauliflower, lettuce, once they start growing leaves, I'll be able to use them. Not saying you can't eat broccoli leaves, which I hear can be pretty tasty if prepared properly. Anyway, this is my favorite view during the spring and summer. It's pretty dead right now, but usually there's a lot of strawberries, you see a lot of red, there's flowers. I have a lot of sweet peas planted here. And sweet peas, I think, should be a staple in everyone's garden, to be honest. Right now what we do have is a pretty sad garden bed. We have cilantro that again is kind of struggling in the cold. Once the sun hits it, it'll perk right up. We have strawberries that are crawling, and these are the sweet peas that I was mentioning earlier. These will grow to be about 4 or 5 feet tall, maybe 6, full of flowers. On the other side of this, we have 2 blackberries. These blackberries are handling the cold pretty well, and they're trellising up where usually I have cucumbers or sweet peas. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do once everything starts growing together, but you know, here it is. Closer to the door we have this grape that we planted about 3 years ago, and it just gave us fruit for the first time last year. It's growing pretty wild through this fence, which to me it's a good thing because it'll bring some broken shade to some of these beds. And on the other side we have another grape that I'm hoping will give us fruit if the chickens stop pecking at it. And up here is my sadness. We used to have a tree as big as the one back there, but the city cut it down a couple weeks ago. That's going to bring a lot more sun to this during the summer, which I'm hoping isn't going to be too much of a problem. But yeah, this is January, which is a work in progress. But it's a learning experience for sure.